Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to another daily devotion with your girl, Sally D. Isaac. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all already know what time it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel and comment so we can interact with each other so I can see how y'all feel about the content that I'm making. Let's go ahead and get started. It's Friday. So today's daily devotion is called Wisdom for Parenting Teenagers. And it's coming from Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, 1st verse. There is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Why does a happy, cooperative 12-year-old suddenly turns into sullen, depressed 13-year-old? There are two powerful forces that account for some of the adolescent behavior that drives you crazy as a parent. The first is linked to social pressures common at that age, but there is a second source of disruption. It's related to hormonal changes that not only transform the physical body, but also revolutionize how kids think. For some, not all, adolescents, human chemistry is in a state of imbalance. For a few years, causing flightlessness, agitation, outbursts, and even depression. This upheaval can motivate a boy or girl to do things that make absolutely no sense to adults who are watching anxiously on the sidelines. This hormonal firestorm can destabilize their self concept and create a sense of foreboding. Parents often despair during the irrationality of this period. Every time they have tried to teach their children seems to have misfired for a couple of years. Everything they have tried to teach their children seems to have misfired for a couple of years. Self discipline, cleanliness, respect for authority, and common courtesy may give way to risk taking and all around goofiness. If this is where your child is today, there is good news. Better days are coming. Your unpredictable teen can actually become a tower of strength and good judgment. If they do not do something destructive before their hormones settle down once more. What should you do as a parent? First, do not draw long-term conclusion based off of the short-term season. Second, let them know you love them, be patient, and pray for a peace of mind. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your minds. Philippians 4:7. Wisdom for parenting teenagers. I must say, I know I went through this with our oldest son. Well, we went through this because it was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. And it started like, in elementary school, you have your little problems, but, you know. But he was like a straight A honor roll student all throughout elementary school. He even was in the talented and gifted program fourth, fourth and fifth grade, I think. He did not want to be there. You hear me? My oldest did not want to be there. I guess because he was the only one of his friends that was in the talented and gifted program. But his teacher saw more in him, right? Like it's like everybody saw his potential except him. And so when we came back from Columbia, because we lived in Columbia for a little while, and we came back to our hometown, Sumter, um, his grades had started slipping in. At first, he was making straight A's, then all of a sudden, I don't know, his grades started slipping, then they came back up. And then we transferred schools the following year, and he was back straight A's again. So the teacher's like, okay, I'm moving him into the talented and gifted program. So they moved him in talented. And he was like, I don't want to be here. I'm not going to do good in here just because I don't want to be here. Can you imagine? You know your child's smart. Your child has been reading above grade level since kindergarten. Because he started reading at 5. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 5. He started reading at 5. And he always was above his reading level since 5, right? And then you get into the talented and gifted program and say, I ain't gonna do good on purpose. But it was all in middle school, y'all. When he got in middle school, who child is this? Because I'm like, did he forget who his mama is or something? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, boy, when I tell y'all my son got in middle school and it really seemed like he lost his mind. That's what it seemed like. And I know I'm not the only parent that felt like this. What they said, it causes flightlessness, agitation, outbursts, even depression. Now at that time, I don't think he didn't go through the depression part at that time, but it's like a light switch went off when he got in middle school, and he was. When I tell y'all, he didn't make the honor roll again, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're smart. Everybody know you're smart. Even his teachers was like, we don't understand why Jaden isn't a part. Y'all, let me tell y'all. Now we know why they do standardized tests, right? My son figured out, well, I'm still gonna pass if I don't apply myself on this standardized test because it doesn't affect my grade. In middle school, he realized this. Now, this is how smart he is. So he purposely did bad on his standardized test in middle school. Going to his 7th grade year, because that's when like that he realized it in 6th grade. So going into 7th grade, they had him in like a reading development class, and I'm like, boy, why is you in this class? You read above your reading level. Why do they have you in there? So the teacher, when she realized he was in her class, she was like, you're not even supposed to be in here. So she went in the guidance and changed his classes because why are you in that people class? Because he learned that he didn't really need it to pass. And I guess he realized the teacher ain't gonna keep me here because they know I'm smarter than what I did on the standardized test. So they're going to move my class anyway. They're gonna move me where I'm supposed to be anyway. That's what we went through. The depression part, I kind of noticed it during the pandemic with them having to be home. With them being um doing school from home. That's when I noticed it a little bit. But we did get him. When did we get him a therapist? We got him a therapist in 2021 because I started realizing that First of all, he told me he didn't want to play basketball no more, so that was a red flag for me. Um, the things that he was doing, like sneaking out of the house and stuff like that. Like I'm really seeing a change in high school. Like high school is like the devil said, "Get over here." What that is, Mortal Kombat. I can't remember who it was. Scorpio had down. Robot said, "Get over here." That's what it seemed like the devil did, right? And I can laugh about it. I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about his actions that he used, the way he used to act and stuff like that. Like, is the and then I also think it has something to do with the music as well. That's why I said the devil came and grabbed him when he got in high school. Because during the pandemic, he went to school ninth grade, then 10th grade, he did it from home. So that was around the time. And then it was the music he was listening to. They said the devil was over the music ministry. And he used to listen to a lot of depressing songs. And I'm like, why are you listening? This music is depressing. Why do you listen to this? I was like, you need to listen to something else because this ain't it. And so we be in the car. He knows I listen to gospel all the time. So he had asked, "Mark, can I listen to, what he want to listen to?" I'm like, nah, if it's depressing, I'm not listening to this depressing music that you want to listen to. I'm not listening to it. I'm not. So I think him listening to that music had an effect on his mind. The devil heightened what he listened to. And, you know, to where I lost him. Not saying that would be your story, but my story is a learning experience. That's what I tell people. Look at me, look at my story, and pick out the learning parts of my story. Because just because my story ended the way it did and I lost my son to suicide doesn't mean that the same will happen to you. Because it's a girl I know, her son, like she was going through some of the same things that I was going through with my son, and her story with her son has turned around tremendously, and I am so excited. Like when me and her was talking, and she was telling me, I was like, "Girl, I went through the same thing." I said, "But that's not gonna be your story. Your son is gonna change it." And when I say her son has done a complete turnaround, he has literally done a complete turnaround. He's about to graduate high school. He's about to. So that's when I say, take what I went through as a learning experience. Parents, teen, parenting teenagers ain't no joke. It ain't. It ain't for the weak. I'm not saying all teenagers because we got teenage girls, and those girls did not give us what Jaden gave us, what the oldest son gave us. Okay, the girls, we had no problems like the girl. We ain't got no calls from the teachers or the principals on the girls. If it was something like neither one, like no, it had to be something real extreme for us to get a call. Like no, we didn't have problems out of them. We just had our third oldest graduate from high school last month, and now we're starting over with the little ones, 4 and 8. Our 8-year-old is going to third grade. But wisdom for parenting teenagers. It says, first, do not draw long term conclusion based off of short term seasons. Know that what you're going through with your teens are a season. And it's not long term, it's short term. This is the part that got me right here, though. It says, your unpredictable teen can actually become a tower of strength and good judgment. You just got to wait on it to subside. And this is what got me. If they don't do something destructive before their hormones settle down once more. See, with my son's hormones, my son was in a battle with himself. And I feel like he was in a battle with the devil at the same time. All of that was in his battle. My son wanted to be a baby because I hate to label him as this, but he was a mama's boy. Everybody that knew us knew it was me and him. It was all like me and him. Me and him. And he was the only child until he was 13. Me and him. Until I met my husband when he was 8 or 9. I met my husband when he was 8 or 9. But we didn't have a child until he was 13. So he was 13 and he was battling whether he wanted to grow up or still be my baby. I found some we used to make him write papers. Like I was trying to get away from cutting his behind because he was getting older, like he was a teenager. So I feel like I shouldn't have to cut your behind because you're a teenager. You hear me. You hear the words coming out my mouth. You hear me. So we used to make him write us letters, write papers of what he was going to do to change his behavior. And I came across some and I laughed when I read them because the things he put in them, I had already, like, me and him already had the conversations about what it is. And because it was me and him for so long, and like I ain't been in a real relationship, I guess you could say I ain't been in a real relationship since me and his daddy broke up in my early 20s. And so it was me and him until I met my husband when I was 29. And I guess, he didn't know how to cope with another man being in my life. Because I guess he was the man in my life, all his life. So then when my husband came in, it's like he felt like he had to battle for my attention. And then our daughter, like when we first found out we was pregnant, like he was mad. He was furious. He was furious for months. And so we took him to the ultrasound for him to see his sister. And that's when he fell in love with his sister. When he went to see, he actually saw her on the TV screen when they did the ultrasound. And then he fell in love with his sister. That's how long it took. Because he was mad that he was no longer the only child anymore. So as he was growing up, I could tell that he was battling growing up or being my baby. So when we got him a psychiatrist, that's what the psychiatrist told us. He told us like stuff we knew already, but he was giving us tools to help him get over these hurdles. But even though we was doing all that, there was always that one person in my son's ear going against everything we told him. That ended up being the destruction of him. And the second thing it says to do, it says, let them know that you love them, be patient, and pray for a peace of mind. So make sure that your children know that you love them. Spend time with them. I think that's one out of everything that I could think of. Try not to get emotional, y'all. Out of everything I can think of, the one thing that I wish I did more I wish I spent more time. I'm not saying that we didn't spend time, because we did. We did things as a family, I think me and him, we didn't go on as much like how we used to when he was little. Going on date nights, when he was little and it was just me and him. Even after I met my husband, me and him would go on date nights, like just me and him. Just me and him. So I wish that I did more just me and him one-on-ones, like how we used to. And I think, and that's one of the things he wanted to do for his 18th birthday. But I was like, no, I wanted to wait. Because it was something in specific I wanted to do for him for his 18th birthday. Like, at the time, y'all know how people took out the cards and they were like, they pick out the 2 cards and you got to pick the card to say what it is that you wanted to do. And that's what I wanted to do for him for his 18th birthday. But I was like, I couldn't do it that day. First of all, on his birthday, my husband had to work. So it couldn't have been just me. It couldn't have been, just me and him. I couldn't take him out that day anyway. And then a week later, he was gone. 1 week after his 18th birthday. I'm not saying that we didn't give him, stuff for his birthday. His birthday was December 21st. So, we gave him money and stuff for his birthday. We gave him Christmas came, and we gave him, stuff for Christmas. And then 3 days after Christmas, he was gone in 2022. So that might be the reason why I get emotional too, because I wasn't able to do that one thing that he asked. And so that makes me wonder how long he was planning this, because it was a minute. It just seemed the question him asking, Mom, can you you take me? He wanted to go to Wild Wings. He was like, can you take me to can it just be me and you and we go to Wild Wings? Like, he just wanted to spend time with just me and him. But I couldn't do it on his birthday because I had his siblings. By this time, the baby, youngest, he was born. So now, we got the two younger ones. And when he turned 18, the baby was Aiden. Aiden had just turned 2 in October. So the baby was 2 and Amaya was 5. So I had the two of them. So I wasn't able to take him on that date before this happened. So make sure you are showing them that you love them. Spend that time, because you never know. It might be the littlest thing that you consistently do for them that they have become accustomed to loving. And if you ever stop doing it, they may feel like you don't love them because you stopped doing that one thing that you didn't know that meant that much to them. And it says be patient. Now that one you got to you got to go to the Lord. Because baby, you're going to need some patience. And you're going to need the patience of the Lord to get through it. And also pray for peace of mind. Pray for their mind, peace of their mind, and peace of your own mind. Because you don't want to be so consumed with, how they're acting that you forget about your other kids as well. So make sure you are praying for both of your minds. Pray over their minds so that the devil does not take over their minds. Keep them in prayer. Keep them in prayer. My situation had to happen. As hard as it is to hear, it had to happen. The Lord already told me it had to happen. It had to happen. It had to happen so I can come on here and tell y'all my story. It had to happen in order for me to walk into my purpose. It had to happen. It had to happen. So, here's a little wisdom for parenting teenagers. I pray that you all were blessed by today's daily devotion like I was blessed. I pray that you all have an amazing night on purpose. And I will see you all back here next week for another daily devotion. See y'all later. Bye-bye.